Hello, all. Here we are again. We've been missing for a couple of weeks. Life gets in the way, shit happens. But we're back again. Me and my sisters. My sister, the North remembers. My other sister from another mister, AK. Northy, introduce yourself.
Hey everybody, North Remembers here. Glad to be back to talk about the magic of Westeros.
Ooh. Alicia.
Greetings, everyone. We are here to, yes, talk about these magical things, and more specifically today, I think magic of blood. So this should be interesting.
We're jumping right into that blood magic. But first, I was just gonna go over, and I just want to give a shout out. I know nobody is gonna see my little video, but I do want to give props to the video that inspired me for this. It's from a streamer called Crusader Chris. Are y'all familiar with him?
I don't think I've heard that name before.
No.
So he did a video about the sorcery of Westeros, and I took a lot of notes from that. So I just wanted to take what he talked about and just expand on it. So he basically laid out the different types of magic. And so I'll go over those just real quick. We're going into blood magic, but also just to give an overview of the magics. So number one is elemental control. The ability to control and manipulate elements, right?
Mm-hmm.
Number two is divination. The ability to see into the past, into the future, into the present. Dragon dreams fall into that. I think green seeing falls into that. So we'll just call that divination. Skin changing, which is the ability to take over another living being, take over their mind, control their body, skin changing. We have raising the dead, which is what the Night King does.
Mm-hmm.
Necromancy.
Bringing people back to life, but not to life because they're still dead. So
Reanimation.
We'll just call that raising the dead. Actually, correction. Let me correct myself. Raising the dead is what Beric does.
And Qyburn, arguably.
Yeah, necromancy is what the Night King does. Mm-hmm. Like he just resurrects bodies and they're still just dead. But raising the dead, that's what Thoros of Myr does to Beric 100 times, and Beric does it to Catelyn Stark. That's bringing a person back to actual life. And Melisandre does it with Jon in the show. So that's raising the dead. There's glamour, a source of magic that makes you appear differently than how you actually are. Shout out to Melisandre being old and decrepit, but looking young and sexy.
The Lady Melisandre.
There's alchemy, which is more of a science, but it's like a science that creates things magical properties.
It requires spells, so
I mean?
It is still magic. Yeah.
Some would say science alone is magic.
Mm-hmm.
True that. And then, of course, we have blood magic.
Mwahaha.
Mwahaha. So I'm all about the blood magic tonight. So my thoughts, okay? I've been thinking a lot about this. I've been contemplating, laying in bed at night, just laying there like this, and just thinking about blood magic.
I'm gonna need you to count sheep or something.
Yeah, let's pick something that might be a little more safer.
No, I just lay in bed and think about blood magic.
Miri Mesdor. All the theories.
Hmm. All right, I have a little snippet that I got off the wiki, I think. It says blood magic is practiced by Magi beyond the Dothraki Sea. Blood magic involves the sacrifice of both animals and humans and is forbidden among the Dothraki. It's usually used to create death or destroy life. So, Mary, we got to start off with Mary Mazdor, obviously, right? She's our prime example of blood magic.
The OG.
Hmm.
So, only death can pay for life, right? So,
That's what they say.
yeah, yeah, like that's
Quote
what they
unquote.
say. But what does it really
Allegedly.
mean? Allegedly. So here's what went down. Mary Mazdor went in the tent. She was like, "All right, I'm gonna save Khal Drogo. Don't come back in here, because the dead will dance here tonight." So does that mean if Danny hadn't gone inside of that tent, her baby would still have been safe?
I'll take the first pass on this one. So I guess I spent a lot of time trying to count which death paid for which life. The horse was supposed to pay for Drogo's life. So we walk away from it because she killed Miri, not knowing for sure if the baby would have died anyway. But Miri Mazdor showed zero empathy, or she was actually, it seemed like she was happy that he wouldn't be the prince that rides. Am I saying it right? The stallion that rides,
that mounts the world.
the world. So she's like, he'll never be born.
Yeah, the stallion that mounts the world.
Yeah, it almost seemed intentional, regardless of whether Jorah took her into that tent. Although one of the big parts of the plot was that he felt so bad about it. But maybe that was going to happen anyway, and she was making her think it was the horse. But she also cryptically said that Danny knew all along what the sacrifice was. Like you couldn't believe it was going to be that horse. Like for someone so powerful and so important, it wasn't going to be the damn horse. It was the blood of the horse, but it was probably always the life of the unborn baby. So that would be.
They take horses into very high regard. Horses are a big deal in the Dothraki,
but not the lamb people. The lamb people don't. She just needed blood. Right? They never really tell us that they regard horses in a high. She was just a magi minding her own business with her different culture. So I think that the blood was the medium and the death was the baby, whether she came in that tent or not. That's what I think.
AK, what do you think? Because I have a lot of questions about this particular topic since I've been laying up at night thinking about it.
Okay, I'm sorry. There's things in the background. I got distracted, so I did miss the last part of what you just said, Candace.
I think I was just saying that that Miri Mazdor's purpose when she said she can help the Dragon Lord, she was intending to take Danny's baby. She told her it would cost, and she said, "I'll do whatever I need to do." And when she said, "Bring me his horse," she didn't necessarily say just the horse is the cost. She said that was part of the process. So Christina was asking, would the baby have been the death regardless of Jorah carrying her in there? And my theory is that, yes, she was intending that was the life that was going to pay for Drogo's, that the horse was just the blood for the spiritual ceremony.
Yeah, that was just the medium. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that kid, sadly, was absolutely going to be doomed.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, even if it would have been born regularly.
She's so...
Even if it would have been born regularly,
she showed zero remorse.
It wouldn't have survived long.
Yeah. And it was such a creepy description, like he had been dead forever, like scales and maggots. And it was such a
just
very traumatic description if she had actually
skin
seen
was
it.
sloughing off.
Yeah.
So she put the spell on that baby off top because she hated what they did to her and her people. She was mounted by 6 guys before Danny pulled up and thought she was her savior. And she's like, "You didn't save nothing. Like before you got there, 10,000 things happened to me."
Yep.
I'm not got raped.
Yeah.
And that's low key that the small bit of hubris when it comes to Dany.
Mm-hmm.
She expects that she should be the savior, that she should get a hearty pat on the back and a well done and bend the knee, just because that's not how the real world works. But the argument can be made that she has no semblance of that because she was never taught that. So is she wrong? Yeah. Did she have some points in her processing thought? Maybe. But yeah, that whole she's a Targaryen, so I think magic like always spins around them, even when they didn't have the dragons. Like they said, the Targaryens are, quote unquote, of like otherworldly something or other. And we know way back in the day there was some type of magical gene splicing and something else going on with them. That's some facts from George that I would really like to hear. Like how did these people really come into play? Because I don't think they're normal. And I think blood magic might have actually a lot to do with that from the very beginning.
Yeah.
That's a whole epic discussion about the Targaryens and their magic connection, because in Valyria, they were not a people. They were just random, like sheep hoarders or something. Like they were just
actually
regular people. But in Valyria, everybody rode dragons, so like it wasn't a big deal.
And that's the thing. I think
they just Valyrian
people. I think we could take it all the way back even before the Targaryens. The Valyrian people in general, they were just out there herding their sheep, and then somebody found these eggs, and then somebody else came up and said, "Hey, I know what those are. Let me show you what we can do with that." And then all of a sudden we get this great empire that is like the height of science and magic. And I think that's very important. They weren't just magical. They understood science fundamentally, and they interwove that. It was Westeros, let's say Planetos, not Westeros, but Planetos, Asgard is kind of what they were. They practiced magic. They had the science. So all of that put together, that's what made Valyria so powerful. That and these dragons and other animals that we know there was gene splicing and forms of blood magic going on with all those too. So it's real interesting to think about.
With that being said, do we believe that there is something in their blood and possibly the ritual of having the egg with the babies that helps make that connection? And that's probably also why I think they wanted to keep their bloodline strong, out of the arrogance and the power. But if you water it down, then that was likely going to be an ability that went away.
Yes. Yeah, like that's
definitely a survival of their people's cultural way, to be honest, which is kind of bizarre because nobody else has that with animals. With dragons, especially.
Not with dragons, but there are other animals.
Well, yeah, the Starks with their wolves. I take that back. The Starks with their wolves and everybody that can skin change. There are several connections and the elemental magics, but as far as like a whole, like generations and generations of power with that, no one else has that.
And
like they popping up, finding out they can connect with a wolf, and no one from their lineage has told them that was a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, because they the way the Targaryens connect with their dragons, there has to be some type of psychic bond, because otherwise, how do you just tell a dragon which way to go? You think it, and the dragon automatically knows to take off and get there. So that's like that real deep blood magic that I would love to get into, because that's like connecting them like at the cellular level, or the atomic level. If we're going like smaller and smaller. It's honestly just fascinating to think about how all of that came through. And I think if we go like way back to super ancient times, the Bloodstone Emperor probably knew some tricks about blood magic also.
Yeah, it goes deeper than I think about the current story, but so far in the past and so much we don't know. And I'm sure it was left for us to just make our own conclusions. Like, did Dany's blood magic allow her to walk through that fire, or was it the Mages? Because that's like, no one knows that. Like, why did she live? And then if you start thinking, was there an extra life in the balance that was taken?
Yeah. And George said that's
Targaryens are
not
not
a
immune
common
to
thing.
fire. Many of them have burned over several different occasions.
Hmm.
I
The
feel like if they
current
were
the
in that
whole
storyline,
Summer Hall situation, where
yeah.
most of the Targs were wiped out, like they all burned to death, so they're not immune to fire.
Yep.
So either we would have to conclude there was something special about Daenerys, or it was the magic of the Meiji and whatever she was ululating when she was like, "You're not about to make me cry, bitch." She was
I
singing her
think
songs.
I think it's a mix of both, actually, because yeah, certain Targaryens stand out in the histories for very specific reasons,
Yeah.
and I think there is absolutely a magical touch with Dany, and then also yeah, the she kind of performed a blood magic spell, and she didn't know that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
only Death King pay for life. Well, Drogo, that death is what helped give life to those three dragons. And
Yeah.
I think she put them in very specific places. She may not have known exactly that's what she was doing, but it still works. You don't
I
have
think she was
to
taking a gamble.
believe in yeah. You don't have to believe in magic for magic to touch you.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. So there were. I've been trying to wrap my head around like whose death paid for whose life. And so there were three deaths. There was, well, first of all, I don't know why Rhaegal died, especially if you consider the horse a sacrifice, that should have paid for a life. Did that pay for Khal Drogo's life? But
I
the
actually
baby
think that
died.
maybe animals don't count. We've never seen anyone sacrifice an animal in exchange, even when it comes to the many-faced god needing to take one. When Arya was like, she saved their lives and he needed to take three out. Like, we've never seen in the story that I'm aware of an animal in that exchange. Different kinds of magic, different kind of religion, but it's always been somebody must die, like human. So I feel like it wasn't the
Yeah.
horse. I think Mary Dora's intent was the baby. Like, you want your husband back, you're going to have to sacrifice a death of a human, and that's the only one Dany had that was of meaning to her. And it also helped Mary Dora not have somebody come raping villages in the future.
I would like to
What does
propose
it
something.
mean, the fact that lots of Targaryens, or not lots, but there's been occasions where Targaryens have had misformed, disheveled, crazy looking stillborn babies? Like
I
Daenerys
believe
wasn't the
That's
first.
that gene
It's a
splicing.
thing that
genetically,
happens.
genetically, if you inbreed too much, that is what we are told would happen. I'm not that strong in science, but I believe that would happen. And we don't know, they've got sister, brother, excuse me, sister, brother, nephew to niece. Like, the lines were just so, that was bound to happen, I think, in a world where medicine wasn't modern and they were just randomly mating with each other.
See,
That's why I think there were so many mad people in the story as well. Like, they just weren't as stable of a bloodline all the way across.
see, when it comes to that, the madness or the quote unquote madness of the Targaryens, I feel like that's something the Maesters just put in there just to make people look side eye them a little bit. Because what Targaryens were actually mad? You could say
Literally,
Aryan Bright
exactly.
Flame had issues, but he was just an overly cocky asshole prince that thought he was special and thought that wildfire couldn't kill him. Well, you were wrong, sir. He wasn't necessarily mad because by all accounts, dude was walking around functioning just fine. He was just a dick.
Yeah.
I mean, who else was that? The Mad King? Well, okay. I'll give you that one. He had some issues, but that also was brought on that a severe form, I think, of PTSD from when he was captured.
Yeah, Ares had some valid paranoia for sure as well,
Yeah.
especially because like his own friend Tywin was like waiting for him to fall down in his downfall. So I don't think he was unjustly paranoid, but the things he did are the similar things that Dany ended up doing in the show that we would consider that she had gone mad, that was out of character for her. She lost it and she was like, I'm burning them all. And he basically was burning people left and right in the Great Hall, just,
Well,
I
no,
mean,
that's what I'm
lighting
saying.
people on
He had
fire. That
issues.
it was like a button
But
was
you can
pushed and he
also
got
argue
rescued.
that his insanity exactly. His torture and capture, whatever they did to
Hmm.
him during the time that
Yeah.
he was a
Yeah,
prisoner, you can argue
that's why
that
I
that
said
changed him
they.
because he was fine before that.
Hmm. Exactly. So, like in that instance, yeah, okay, we could say he's one of the mad ones, but who else?
You're
There's
right.
there's certainly people that we have our own problems with and things that they did that we don't like, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they were mad. And that's
Yeah.
actually a good point there. Sydney thinks that Ares could have been schizophrenic. Highly possible.
I think he was more so. I think in
No,
hindsight,
obviously he was.
it was the experience as a prisoner, and then I mean, you think you're the king, you're the most powerful man, and you get kidnapped, and then you get imprisoned and tortured for all we could tell.
For over a year.
Yeah, I mean, and
Yeah.
I don't reflect on that as much because the narrative, like you said, that they push is just that he was crazy and he was so out of character from Rhaegar that you're just like, oh God, one nice person, one really wacky person. But
Yeah.
yeah, he had been through some stuff and was rightfully paranoid because they were trying to take him down.
Baylor, I have issues with how Baylor went about doing things, but would I say he was mad? No. Was he a fanatic? Let's see, I want to say a cultist. Yes, but
He was a
he knew every
religious
move that he
fanatic.
was
Yeah.
making. Yeah, he knew every move he was making. So I don't know that I will call him mad. And again, back to Aryan swallowing wildfire. Swallowing wildfire is stupid and absolutely reckless. Yeah, but that happened when he was drunk. And like I said, he was a boasty ass individual that was a dick to everybody around him, and he thought that he could do no wrong with anything that he did. So yeah, of course he's gonna think fire cannot kill a dragon. And well, he fucked around and found out.
Well, see,
That doesn't mean he was mad though.
it's
He fucked
interesting
around
because
and find out.
Danny did the same thing, and we didn't think she was mad. I did think she was mad in the moment watching the show for the first time, like, oh my God, she's gonna burn in there. But she walked in there not meaning to die. She thought, I'm a
Exactly.
dragon and I'm gonna make it. So I don't know if he was as off the mark for thinking he could survive swallowing fire, because if they think they are dragons and they spit hot fire.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
it's questionable.
You
It's
got me
very
rethinking
questionable.
my whole assessment of the Targaryen past. That they really were
There,
misunderstood, probably in a
there's a
way because
lot there's a lot going on in my weird brain how I see things could have happened with them. Like this connection that they have with the dragons. It's one of the reasons why I like person's genealogy theory that he had. That there's definitely specific markers in their DNA that makes them either a rider or just a hatcher. And those few that have both of those qualities a lot of times have a great amount of power and magical ability if they learn to tap into it. And I think that's one of the problems that um, not necessarily just the seven, but the maesters, because they wanted that power, had with Rhaenyra. So another grand maester conspiracy there. But it's all stems, to wrap it back around, in them understanding the bloodline and following the bloodline. Like it almost seems like they could track who was actually going to be able to do what, or at least look for the signs to show them what this person was going to do, and if they wanted to actually fully back that one or do something to get rid of them, if that makes sense. I know it's weird tinfoil, but it's my thought. Aegon the
Sydney, the
Unworthy was a
romantic
bit
Taylor,
mad
says
too.
Aegon the Unworthy was a bit mad too, which I don't know how because he wasn't even born of incest. His mother was a roker.
Yeah, I don't think he
What is
was
that?
mad. He was I don't even know a good word to describe that dude. He was
He's
absurd.
just a fucking dick.
He was a fuck
He was
boy
just the fucking worst.
with far too much
Yeah, he
power
was the worst. I don't even know if you can attribute that to like mental
to
health
being crazy.
issues. Like
Yeah,
he was
I don't
just
think
a
that's a mental
fucking
health
dick.
issue.
just a horrible person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, being a
Absolutely.
bad person overall.
Yeah, I think he was just a jerk. A huge jerk.
Yeah. That's why he's called the unworthy, because he was a piece of shit.
Yeah. Like
Isn't
you
that the
literally set your
king that
family up for civil war.
legitimized all the bastards?
Yep. He is the reason for the Blackfire rebellions. You and your fuck shite.
And what kind of bitch ass move is that to do on your deathbed to legitimize all of your bastards? You know you're starting a war right now. Like, you know what this means. Like, what are you doing? This is how you want to go out? Like, fuck it, everybody fight.
I can die in peace
right,
now.
Mic drop. I can die now.
And I'm out.
Yeah, now I can die. Everybody fight. I'm out.
Like,
Try.
for fuck's sake, Aegon, what the hell is wrong with you, man? But then again, I could make the argument that all you assholes named Aegon, something wrong with y'all.
Yeah,
there's very few of them, I think, that could say they were like, completely clean. I mean, Egg, he was close, but Summerhall blew up because his ass was trying to do some blood magic that he didn't fucking understand, trying to bring dragons back into the world, and
he was still trying to do that shit. Yeah.
It's nuts. It's so nuts to think about. And there's
actually been so many Aegons.
There's let's see, Aegon the 5th. I mean, if we want to go with show canon, I guess they're like 6 or 7 now. Because after Aegon the 5th, there wasn't another one until the Lord Commander, I think, if I'm remembering my lineage correctly.
Wait, isn't the current House of the Dragon Aegon the 6th?
No, in House of the Dragon,
7.
Wait, when you say House of the Dragon, are you talking about the show?
Yeah.
Okay, that's Rhaenyra's time. So no, Aegon the 2nd and Aegon the 3rd is who's on the show right now. Aegon the 2nd just got crowned, and Aegon the 3rd is Rhaenyra's youngest son.
No, he can't only be the 3rd. There have been so many other Aegons.
Well, they not that early. There's only Aegon the 1st. I mean, there may have been a few other Aegons, but you only get the 1st or the 2nd, the 3rd, or whatever if you're ruling.
Yeah, if you sit the throne.
So thus far, there's all right now. I mean, he's not on the throne yet, but we know that he will be. So Aegon the 3rd is where we're at.
Yeah,
and then we get Aegon the 4th coming up later. Aegon the 5th was Egg, and I believe the next Aegon, according to the show, is Jon Snow.
I hated that they gave him that name on the show.
I really did too. That is not his damn name. He would have been a
better Aemon.
I fucking can't.
That's what I said.
Shit. Like, why?
There's 2 names. He was either going
this
to be
man already
Aemon.
Had a son named Aegon. Why do you name another child Aegon?
Exactly, and Aegon was still alive at that time. Why would he do that? I know Rhaegar might have been a lot of things, but ridiculous in that area anyway was not one of them.
Yeah.
So no, I think Jaehaerys or Aemon is the names that either of his parents would have picked for him.
Those are great names. Yeah, Jaehaerys, awesome. Always go with Jaehaerys. You can't go wrong with Jaehaerys.
And Jaehaerys would have made sense with
and
Ned
Aemon
if he was just like,
a good one
Ned was
too.
like, I can't leave you with this.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, if Ned was saying that he can't leave him with a Targaryen name, and he just switched Jaehaerys to Jon to simplify a J name.
I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it had anything to do with Jon Arryn. I know a lot of people have said that before. I don't think that was it. I think his name very much could have been Jaehaerys.
Yeah, he couldn't let like
that would have been better.
But he couldn't let that stand, because that would stand out immediately.
Yeah, they'd be like, how the hell does this this northerner have a Targaryen name?
Yeah.
This northerner is named Jaehaerys.
Yeah. Something strange here.
But I would have loved that better
Sydney.
In the big name reveal.
You see that last comment that Sydney made? I think you're right there too. There's a high chance that he could have gotten the name of Viserys.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Because
I would have hated
that. With
Viserys.
his 3 kids, with his 3 kids, he would I think give them similar names to the original big 3.
Yeah.
Rhaenys, Aegon, and Visenya. So okay, so 3 names. You're right. I forgot about that one, Sydney. He very well could have been called Viserys.
I never thought about that one. That would have been odd. It's anything but John feels odd anyway. Like if the story continued on and they were calling him that, it just doesn't work for me.
Wait, Sydney said, wait, let me look at this real quick. Let's see here. John's name could have been Viserys since, where did it go?
Is your feed delayed?
Come back here.
I think her feed is delayed because Alicia just read over that one, but Sydney said something after.
We just had a whole conversation about that. Hold on, Sphinx. You might have to. Yeah, you might need to restart StreamYard real quick. Just hit refresh. Hit refresh real quick and see if that brings you closer.
Is that going to start everything all over?
No, not if you do it quick enough. Like, don't sign out or anything. Just click refresh.
I'm scared, but I'm going to.
Do it.
All right, here I go.
Magic will help us.
Clicking it.
Blood magic will help us through this.
Fingers crossed, y'all.
Fingers crossed. I realized she was gonna say that, and I'm like, we just talked about that.
Right? Yeah. Wait, hold on, ma'am.
Wait a darn minute. Am I tripping?
Right.
My cup is not that empty.
I'm sorry, you guys.
I was gonna say I don't even have rum out right now, so I know it's not me.
I was like, man, this wine is good.
God damn this wine.
I swear me and Candace.
I have an expander for my Wi-Fi. I need to go get it out of the other room and put it back into my room where like I have full functionality. I'm sorry. I'm back.
I think you're good now, I think.
Okay. So what did you guys say about John being named Viserys?
That Rhaegar was trying to recreate the original 3. So he had a Rhaenys. He already had an Aegon. So this third son, that's going to be, it's not a girl, so not Visenya, but Viserys.
Okay. I can see that. I still don't see why he needed a second Aegon, though, but I mean, he had a full-blown ass son named Aegon. Like, why would he name John Aegon again?
Makes no sense.
What was the timeline briefly, book canon for the Tower of Joy incidents when the baby was born and the mountain smashing their heads, dashing their heads against the wall? How do we know that wasn't before that? I don't remember.
Oh, do you mean like the smashing of the heads happened before the Tower of Joy?
Could Rhaegar have seen
kind of
his son was dead
around the same time?
Even if it did, though,
Ned and them had already won the war, so Ned was just like, okay, like war is won. Let me go find my sister. And at this point, the Lannisters had already overthrown King's Landing and killed the babies.
That's what I'm saying.
And it was won. It was victory.
Which
so
is
did
why
Rhaegar know his son was dead?
That's what I'm saying. Rhaegar's dead by now, so he would not have any inclination that
Rhaegar had been got killed before this. Yeah.
So there's no way he would make another Aegon when, as far as he knows, his other son Aegon is still alive and healthy.
I had to refresh my memory on that. Now, would Lyanna have done it? Would Lyanna have done it not caring because she thought that was a powerful name?
No. Because how would she have known that happened?
I can't make it make sense at all. Even Lyanna, Rhaegar, anybody. Like, why do you? I have kids. I have a child named Reginald. I'm not going to have another son and also name that son Reginald.
Not everybody's out here like George Foreman.
We did do that with our cats, though. We'd be like,
the cat George Foreman it.
And we'd read
George Foreman did that shit, and he's weird.
So wrong.
And
I think
Candace,
that's a
actually,
bit
our
of
grandpa did that shit too, because he named both of his sons Lawrence.
yeah. It's a little narcissist move, I think, on George Foreman's part, but whatever.
A little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit. Let's see
All right, what else we got
over here.
Did either of you guys ever play the Telltale game for Game of Thrones?
Mm-mm.
Okay,
No?
maybe not right away, but there is a blood mage in that game. It's a very interesting backstory to her. But go ahead, I see you got another comment up. Tackle that, and then I'll show you guys a clip if you don't mind watching for a sec.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so she says Rhaegar was a tad bit mad.
Obsessive.
He was
maybe.
obsessed with prophecy that he ran off with Lyanna without telling anyone and assumed he'd win the battle on it. I wouldn't call him obsessed
I wouldn't count that as
with
being
prophecy.
No, he was. Homeboy changed up his whole thing over prophecy. He was a bookworm. He wasn't worried about nobody's sword going to fight.
Right.
Nothing.
He was like, never mind, give me a sword. Obviously, I have to fight.
Obsessive, yeah. Obsessive, yes. What does that mean? He had mental issues, though? I don't think so. He knew exactly what the hell he was doing.
I agree.
I don't know.
I retract my statement.
Put him in that category. But yeah, he was absolutely obsessive. I totally agree with that part. Absolutely. So much so that he wrote 2 chicks in to that whole prophecy shit. Oh shit! Could Rhaegar have been a cult leader? Hot damn.
The cult of himself, his own cult, where they worship him.
Oh come on! You know Targaryens are cocky. I wouldn't put that past him.
One day, somebody will make me understand why there's 2 Aegons from the same person, but
ain't nobody. Dan and Dave can't even explain why they did that.
Why did they do that? It's so stupid.
The same reason they had Arya kill the Night King, because they wanted to subvert expectations. Well, I understand that, but do it in a smart way. Don't do that dumb shit.
No, I want the fan service. I want Jon Snow to kill the Night King.
Yeah, because it makes no sense. Because otherwise, what the hell was all this shit for?
Yeah, what was all of this?
What was special about Jon if he wasn't supposed to be the chosen one?
Exactly. If he's not the one that's going to do the deed and get the job done, then what's the fucking deal? Like, why are we following him through all of this? This man then died, came back to life. He's running everything that he comes across. He's in charge of everybody, but he's not the one to kill the Night King.
I have a question. Quick question. Oh, god damn it. Did I just forget it that quick? Oh, John, do you think that, if you can remember back that scene when they're in the war tent and they're planning and the camera like zooms in on Jon staring into the flames, do you think he saw something? And if he did, to look back into the blood magic, do you think it's because of the specific magic blood that he has in his veins? They never did anything with it, but it seemed like it could have been a very interesting plot point had they chose to follow that road.
Well, I mean, that would mean now Jon has like prophetic powers, right? So
he's supposed to be the chosen one. The chosen one be getting powers. Homie has a dire wolf and a freaking dragon. I mean, nobody else has 2 magical creatures.
Like, he's already a warg and a dragon rider. Like, also now he can see shit in the flames. Like, that's too much.
I'm
saying
he
can't have all of the skills.
Why not?
I don't know. I disagree. So my first,
why not?
I didn't acknowledge that he could see anything in there, but do we believe that anyone else could see the flames? Like Melisandre had a couple of followers, including Stannis, that claimed that they were such believers of Azor Ahai that they could see what she saw in the flames, and that's why they believed it. I think it was one of Stannis.
No, obviously
Stannis, the Hound. The Hound is more interesting to me.
Nothing came to life. It all failed. It was all just a bunch of failures.
No,
Everything
I'm just
she
saying, but
claimed
did
to
they
see
see
in the
No,
something?
but
flames.
just that they had the ability, I think.
Did they see something? Did
Yeah.
they said they did. Do we believe they did? Because if they
Stannis,
did and they were
yeah.
nobodies technically, and a false chosen one is what Stannis was all this time, even though he thought it was true,
Stannis
then
was searching for something to be special by. So do I think he saw something? I think it's possible. Could he have been just forcing himself to see stuff? Yeah, that's possible too. Now the Hound has never had any such inclinations like that, but he said he saw something in the flames too. I'm inclined to believe what that man said.
somebody else heard voices when the flames were crackling as well and was creeped out by it. Was that
Varys.
the Hound?
Varys, when his junk got cut off, he heard
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Heard
yeah, yeah,
voices.
yeah. That's right.
So I think when the magic is really popping off and like it's strong, it can reach people that don't even know what they're witnessing.
And there's the thing, what ritual of blood magic was that mage doing that you had to get a poor tween boy's nutsack to activate it?
He didn't get any like Eye of Newt.
And what
Like he just
for?
You can just go get some sage.
You can't just sage the house.
your run of the mill ingredients.
Seriously, like you had to go and cut this boy's berries off. Really?
Yeah, in such a heinous way. Like he did it while he was alive.
Right.
Like,
and not even while he was alive, but that he didn't give him anything for the pain.
all the above.
Like they had numbing agents.
Yeah.
But he chose not to do like is there something specific in that form of blood magic where pain has to be involved?
Well, some
Did
people say that Varys is a Blackfire, so he
I was about to
has
say, I think he
blood.
thought something was special about Varys's blood, but why it had to be his penis was like really far fetched. Maybe the dude had like two levels of issues going on. He was into magic, and maybe he was a little freaky. I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely still. I would also like to know what entity he was talking to, and also let's bring in our red priest and priestesses. Kinvara still fascinates the hell out of me because how the hell did you know that about that man? Varys is never, ever, ever, ever shook about anything.
Mm-hmm.
Soon as she said that, that is one time you've seen Varys really look with a panic look on his face, and he went speechless.
Yeah.
Anyone that can do that, I am interested in knowing what the hell they know.
I feel like that was red magic. Am I saying it right? The Azor Ahai. What do they call their magic?
Fire. I think theirs would be more fire magic, and that's why I think she might have been able to read what happened. But
he didn't indicate that the guy was a red priest. It was more like
just that he was a random mage.
Yeah, like just out there, maybe like experimenting with that type of magic because he was creeped out by all the followers of the Red God, and I feel like he saw a connection, whether it was the fire itself.
Because of the fire, I think.
Yeah. And I wonder if that random mage was tapping into that that source of magic, even though he wasn't a follower of the Red God.
Yeah. And I do agree there, Sydney. Yeah, there's a few people that have linked Varys to Sarah. Yeah. I think she comes into play with what's his name? The young perpetrator Aegon.
Oh, young Griff.
Yeah, that kid.
Ah.
Yeah, because I don't think he's the son of Rhaegar at all. God, although it would be interesting if he was.
But you know what? But yeah, how do we know though? Like to me, it's a big ass question mark.
It seems real far fetched that
possible.
He would be.
Yeah, it could. He could actually be Aegon Targaryen, or he's just a Mummer's dragon.
Yeah, I think he's the Mummer's dragon.
The thing that gets me. I'm sorry. I was just going to say the brilliance about the writing, right? George specifically puts people who are supposed to be people's kids, and we know they're falsely telling the world they're who they're not, like Jane Poole and Arya being Arya. And so the seed is planted, like this young Griff could be fake or could be real, because there's totally fake people doing the same thing. Have they lied to this boy? Is he invested in the lie? Does he just not know? Like, it's so well written that it makes for such great content like this, because we just can talk about which fork in the road this is going to go.
George is very good at having people spin their lies too, because the kid said that he dyed his hair blue in honor of his mother that loved blue roses. And we know the blue winter rose is a symbol for Lyanna Stark.
Yeah.
But if you really, if you, no, I'm sorry. No.
The blue rose is the symbol for Jon?
Is the symbol. No, it is a symbol for Lyanna Stark, but he just used that color to give the kid something to connect to, I think. Lil Aegon, though, I just keep always thinking back to Elia. Elia would never even let their handmaidens, who were supposed to be there specifically to help her with the babies. She never let any of those ladies do anything. She always took care of both of them. So why would she agree to a plot like this to take her son somewhere and not have a place for Rhaenys in that whole plan?
So in what situation does somebody come to you and say, I need to take your baby son to make him safe, but y'all are just going to die, but I'm going to save your baby son?
I can cite one when Tyrion sent Tommen off to go be a page. It was like, in case we all get murdered, our whole Lannister line doesn't get wiped out, and the next person in line for the throne doesn't get wiped out. That is an example, I think, of a similar effort, better played, except for his Kingsguard leaving him hanging when Bronn tried. At least a show situation was Bronn catching him slipping and taking him back. But
yeah, I mean, he also made a space for Marcella in that thing too, though.
Yeah, he was able to pawn her off to Dorne at the same time. So, but they didn't happen on the same day.
But, yeah, true.
So who's to say the plan wasn't supposed to continue?
To get Rhaenys out later.
Because we found that with the Marcella storyline, it was a little bit somewhat not as easy to find a little girl that looked just like her. Like golden hair, without freckles. Like they talked about how they had to find just the right person, and it's probably a little easier with a boy, I think.
Yeah, true enough.
Let's see here. Varys could be Sarah's son or grandson. Remember Jaehaerys' daughter who ran... Okay, she didn't run a whorehouse, but she did go off to a whorehouse. Wait, did she run it, Sarah?
Actually, I think that's accurate. If it wasn't her, then it was some other daughter that had escaped and got over there and absolutely became like the man. And was running shit.
That's Sarah. That's Jaehaerys' daughter. Yeah. She went out there and wilded out.
I mean, did she know, or was she just herself?
Balerion?
No, that was.
Did she come back on Balerion and was all fucked up and shit?
One that got infested with the fireworms that killed her.
Mm-hmm.
What was her name?
Sarah.
What?
That was Sarah. And Drogon took her off and nobody knew where they were. And then when Balerion. Balerion brought her back. When Balerion brought her back, she was full of worms.
No, that's not the same person. That's not the same person. Because this Sarah actually stayed over there. She never came back. If I remember correctly. Hold on, let me ask you.
She did though. She came back way later.
Arya, thank you. Yes, that was Arya.
Oh
yeah, completely different character.
Are you talking about Arya or am I talking about Arya?
You're describing a situation that happened with Arya.
Arya, okay. Sorry, I thought it was Sarah. All these fucking Targaryens, who can keep track?
Yeah, pretty much. There legit was a whole ass tribe of them.
Yeah.
And that fireworm thing just.
But Ariel, she was the one though that came back with like all the flesh worms and
Uh-huh.
everything,
Mhm.
and Valerian, she rode him, and they disappeared for like umpteen months, and then she came back and she was a mess.
Yep.
All right.
All right. So yeah, let's. Do you have any other notes then, Lady Candace? I think we can
I
get into
don't.
it.
I was going off of
Damn, it's already
Christina's.
7:55. This shit goes by so fast.
It
Yeah.
does.
Because
Look at
there's so
my
many
notes. We're
avenues
like right
we could go down.
here.
I was about to say, bro, you thought we were gonna get all of that done
We're
today?
like right my notes.
That's how we end up with parts 1 through 3.
Yeah, I feel like this is gonna be at least a 4-part series.
Hot shots.
And then
part
we'll have to shelve it and then loop it back around after we talk about something else.
It'll be this quarter's discussion on magic.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Honestly, though, I knew magic was going to be a discussion.
Yeah,
there's
so
I
much.
wanted to talk about blood magic tonight, and we've just barely scratched the surface. Like, we haven't even really gone deep into blood magic. So
it's a lot
next
deeper,
week,
I think.
blood magic, ladies.
Yeah, the magic around House Blackwood is very interesting to think about as well.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that reminds me. While we're talking about other houses, can I pull in the clip that I found?
Do it.
Real quick.
Do
All right,
it.
hold on. Let me pull up the thing. Sorry, I thought I had it ready. I did not. I was about to say, wait, where did I go?
Sorry, Leisha. That was my.
You're
that
good.
was me.
You're good.
I'm sorry. I did that. I was trying to make you bigger, and I removed you.
No, hold on. Actually, what I'm gonna do is share a screen. I'm gonna just share a screen, and then you could keep it up. No. Take that off. Do you see the other thing that's below next to me in the bottom? Yeah. Just click OK to add that, and it'll come up and push all 3 of us over to the side, so you don't have to cut anybody off.
Oh, okay.
There you go. All right. Let me turn off my headset though, so the mic picks up the sound. Hopefully, it doesn't mess up like it did last night.
We've learned there's a power here, Garrett. A power we've only just begun to understand. Winter is coming.
Can you guys hear that?
But we haven't much time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gregor ven fionden Bjorne sager ven. Svelog mokre befasta.
I'm going to cut it off there because that was, I believe her name is, is it Sarah? No, it's, I think her name is Estera Snow. She is a bastard of House Forrester, and she is a blood magi who is tasked, along with other bastards of House Forrester. They are tasked with keeping secret, guarding, if you will, a place called the Northern Grove. And it is a magical stronghold, basically. And that blood magic that she did there, that's how she keeps her army in check. It's like not volunteers. The only ones that have any free reign to come and go as they please are the bastards of House Forrester. Everyone else, she holds with blood magic.
Interesting.
And I just thought that was a very interesting thing to put into the game and the storyline.
Yeah, that was really cool. All right, so what I think we will do is officially announce a part 2. Skedaddle out of here. Wait, my mouse isn't working. Hold on, mouse. If there's any last questions of that, anything you guys want to talk
If you asked
about
me a
for
question or
the?
anything,
We
I
didn't get
did not
far.
hear it. I had to recalibrate my headset.
We didn't get
No,
far at
you're
all, but it
good.
was a good start. It was a good starter.
Yeah, blood magic alone is just like crazy. It's so hard to understand.
What the hell is that?
Yeah.
Amber Alert. All right, AK a second to see if she can resurface. Camden, you can. That means
What's that?
Candace
What'd you say?
in sleepy words. I called you Camden.
It cut you off, so I almost didn't notice it.
So you can say your goodbye, then I'll hop down to AK if she's back around.
Okay. All right, everybody. We'll see you next Sunday. Thank you for having me back, Spinksy. Hey, Alicia. If you can
Always.
still hear me. Bye.
Alicia, are you there? Do you
Now I feel like I
copy?
want to wait till she comes back.
Alicia. I know. But I do have to go though. The Last of Us is the season finale
Serious?
tonight.
Yeah.
I've been
Yeah, I will try to.
binging it. Yeah, I gotta
Me too.
watch it. Have you been watching it, Candace?
Yeah, I just caught up on it.
Yeah?
Yeah. Bye,
Yeah.
guys. You guys, thank you
So
for the
I
great
gotta go watch
comments.
The Last of Us. Good night, everybody.
Same.
Thank you so much, everyone that joined us in the chat. Jesse, J2G, Sydney the Romantic, Taylor, Jake Cruz. You guys held it down the whole time. Y'all are awesome. Thank you so much.
Bye.
All right, we're going to slide out of here. Here we go. We're sliding. There's a slide.